All right, guys, welcome. Happy Friday to everybody. Welcome to the Roundtable. This is a little bit of a review of the week, and we're also going to get into our predictions for the Mississippi State game.
We didn't come this far just to come this far.
We want to be legendary.
Starting things off, I want to direct you all to all of the other things available to you in terms of information on Inside Texas's YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe. Join us there. There's a lot of valuable information for everybody there. And just like we did last week, we're gonna add on to some of the information that was already given. If you listened to or got the opportunity to watch Paul and Homer break down the statistical analysis of what's going on with Mississippi State and some of the other games going on, you got a real treat there. But just like we want to, and maybe it's because they're incapable of doing it, but right now we're just going to go deeper, and we're going to talk about some deeper stats. So first, I want to talk to you, Paul. What I'm seeing right now in the game is, well, frankly, Sark is only calling the touchdown play about 8.9% of the time. And I'm just curious, is that because he's being conservative? Why do you think he's not calling the touchdown play as frequently as he should?
You hold back touchdown plays till conference play.
Okay, so you're expecting more touchdown plays against Mississippi State.
Yeah, sometimes you call field goal plays against non-con.
Okay.
You want Bert Auburn to get work. That also is his NIL with Bert Plus. He's got to get a certain number of kicks, so they'll drop him. And they'll just go pure Troy Polamalu. So you can't have that happen. You'll have a UNLV situation.
Right.
You got to kind of play chess when everyone else is playing checkers in regards to this. Sometimes we'll call the punt play.
Right.
Because we got a freshman punter.
Yep.
You need to get him some reps.
Is that for reps or is that more for obfuscation?
It's for reps.
Right.
Also, I like that you use the word obfuscation. That's good.
Thank you. I've got it up on the screen here. It helps me to memorize things.
You remember your SAT words from your junior year of high school.
I went to high school in Oklahoma. We didn't do the SAT.
Did you guys do the ACT?
No, dude, if we could tie our shoes, we were good to go.
That's awesome.
There's nothing that sophisticated. So Ian, with the touchdown play, are you expecting, like Paul said, more touchdown plays called this weekend as we do interconference play with Mississippi State?
It could be. It's possible that Mississippi State's nature on defense will transform more plays into touchdown plays that may not have been designed necessarily in that fashion.
Okay.
John Gruden has stated that every play he calls, if properly executed by the players, results in a touchdown.
Oh, that's interesting.
So include the quarterback sneak.
Oh, wow.
So let's try to apply that to all of our lives and all of our writing today, gentlemen.
Did he put that in an email?
He also had some opinions about other things that
sure
we don't need to get into here, but I just wanted to tell you that a quarterback sneak can go 99 yards if you block it right. Just saying.
When we think about things outside of the box that can help determine the outcome of the game, one thing I want to talk about is actual overall time of possession. Now, the overall time of possession for Texas has been 2 hours and 4 minutes. But when you look at Mississippi State, they've only had 1 hour and 37 minutes. And this really got me to thinking, like 1 hour and 37 minutes is not a long time. So I asked ChatGPT if there are any movies out there that are exactly 1 hour and 37 minutes long. And this is what we came up with. We've got The Secret of Nim. We've got Shutter Island, which is super, super scary. Another scary movie is The Nightmare Before Christmas and The Wedding Singer, right? These are fine. These are totally fine films. But when you move over to Texas's range, which is 2 hours and 4 minutes, you get some absolute bangers. And that's going to be The Incredibles, The Departed, obviously The Dark Knight, and then you've got Django Unchained. So in this regard, I'm going to have to give this to Texas, but I'm open to any kind of argument you may have on this. Justin, let's go to you. I mean, you obviously saw what films the 1 hour and 37 minute mark is bringing in. Is there anything in there that you would think is worthwhile?
Secret of Nim, that's an old school one. Back in that feels like an 80s one when we were kids.
It sure is, yeah.
Like The Never Ending Story on acid or something.
Oh, man.
Shutter Island, that was a good one from Leo. I think it was an underrated flick. My ex is really big into The Nightmare Before Christmas, so And then Wedding Singer, one of the best soundtracks in theatrical history. I mean, The Wedding Singer really brought back the '80s in a fun way. But I'm with you. I think Texas is deeper in that 2 hour. I think they're much more. There's a lot more veracity here, a lot more substance. The Departed is that and Django. If those are on, you don't turn those off. Especially Departed. I don't think I've ever turned off Departed anytime it's popped up on my television at any time. That is, even when I was in Cozumel on a honeymoon, only thing was Spanish. Only channels were Spanish. Departed came on. I watched it in El Español.
So were you able to hear the Boston accents in Spanish, or how did that come through?
No, it was drastically different, which actually changed the movie a little bit. It became a little less Departed, a little more imparted.
Eric, you're a renowned cinephile. When you're looking at this metric, how do you feel this is going to play into the game this weekend?
I'm with you on the Departed. I can't believe Christopher Nolan kept the movie under 2 hours and 5 minutes. That was news to me, and I'm a little disappointed that Mississippi State got out of Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme territory of 91 minutes, a tight 91-minute movie. Yeah, I would have thought they were more in line with that. This is definitely a good metric. I think it's going to play out. I'm actually reevaluating my score prediction now based on this.
Well, along those lines, gentlemen, Dunstan checks in. I think is like an hour and a half, maybe hour and 31. Really good flick, good character development. Dunstan, the orangutan, is delightful. Yep. The best orangutan performance since Every Way But Lose with Clint Eastwood.
That's a very close one.
Clyde was just a banger. Ian won't watch it because he thinks it's satanic. I don't understand.
It is satanic. There should be more movies that try to keep it to 90 minutes. I saw one the other day that was in that range, and there's way too many movies that are trying to be The Departed when they should just be Dunstan checks in.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese could benefit from that advice because most of his long flicks are not The Departed. They're just terrible, meandering nonsense.
Ian could probably take a little bit of his own advice on his articles.
Oh, wow. All right. Some commentary on Ian's verbosity. Okay, here we go. Let's move on now. We don't know. I mean, we're going to let Sark decide this, but there are two private school quarterbacks that are in play here, one for Texas and one for Mississippi State. And if you look at the tuition of those schools, one is coming in at $30,241 a year, and one is around $12,000 a year. And you may say to yourself, okay, well, how do you evaluate that? Obviously, Mississippi State's looking good. Their chicken nuggies probably cost a little bit less, and you're getting the opportunity to have some pizza rolls, and you're not out 30 grand. But when we're looking at the value of something, I think it's very important to go to the Kia scale. And you can get a Kia Rio for about $12,000. But if you want to get something a little bit more, you're going into the Kia Sportage range. And Paul, again, I'm going to go to you on this because I know you really are passionate about spending money on assets that immediately start depreciating.
I'm a huge fan of that. Also, just Korea and Koreans in general. That Kia Sportage is loaded, by the way, at $30,000.
100%. Yeah.
You can get a baseline Kia Sorento, which is a step up.
Yep.
Now, it's not going to have the 360 cameras. It's not going to have all the widgets and gadgets. But yeah, well, I mean, what I'm seeing here is that Arch is 2.5 times more educated.
Okay.
Than Van Buren. That's just my quick rule of thumb math here. Ian, can you ask your daughter to confirm?
She says you're wrong.
Why did Arch have to go private school? He lives in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's a great point. I would just send my kids to the public schools. You ever seen Lean on Me?
Yeah. Stand and Deliver, Lean on Me. There's a few of those, right? The principal with Tom Berenger. Yeah.
I'll never forget one of the games that was covering with Arch in New Orleans and walking to my car because there's not a lot of parking down there around the private school. Parking my car and hearing gunshots, screaming, and then just pure like ambulance and all this stuff. And it's like, I gotta go.
Those could have been celebratory gunshots because in New Orleans, they do fire their guns up in the air like on New Year's Eve and stuff. Yeah. And that's like just fun. Sometimes the bullets fall on schools and stuff. But
Taliban leaders with their shooting their Russian-made Kalashnikovs in there.
I mean, it's completely possible that it could have been the backfire from a vehicle that wasn't a Kia. I think we should also throw into consideration those elements. So we've looked at the Kia scale. As a result of that, it's a depreciating asset. Therefore, we're going to give that one to Mississippi State. And again, this is the metric I think is most important, and that is the acceptance rate. Mississippi State is coming in at around 75% acceptance rate. The reason I'm giving this to Mississippi State, I think, is pretty obvious. I mean, they're serving their community way better than the University of Texas is. I mean, they're not letting that many people enjoy the education that the University of Texas provides. So I think we're going to give that one to Mississippi State.
I would like to see the 24.8% of applications that don't get into Mississippi State. That would be the real interview. LC.
Well, for those of you paying attention, you'll remember that last week when we played ULM, their admission rate was 70%. So a little bit harder to get into than Mississippi State. All right, gents, we are in league play. Obviously, I outlined why this is going to be a very close game. But before we get into the actual breakdown of what's going to happen on the field, Justin, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the key recruiting stories this week that some people might have missed?
D-line recruiting for 2025 is the hot topic right now. Everybody wants updates on everything. Looks like Texas is going to take 2, possibly 3 more D lineman in the 2025 cycle, chasing some Chase Sims stuff, trying to figure out if he's going to be in or not, or if that's going to happen. Josiah Sharma, Myron Charles, going to make their first trips back to catch a game this fall. I think that's a big deal. But really, Dalen McCutcheon is the guy that I think Texas fans need to kind of pay attention to. The Florida State commit plays for Lucas Lovejoy of the Fighting Todd Dodges. Comes out of retirement to take over that Lovejoy program. McCutcheon's a very complete player. Honestly, if you watch his tape, he might be one of the most complimentary receivers to a guy like a Khalil Lockett and a Jamie French. He is going to take an unofficial visit this weekend. I love where Texas stands in that recruitment. That's one that we're going to be monitoring, and we're going to have a full list, another list. We had one posted earlier this week. We're going to post another one in the Recruitador and kind of break down some of the guys coming in and out. But yeah, Texas is the hottest team in the country. And they right now are having a lot of fun with this 2025 cycle. They're going to start, I think, cherry picking a little bit and being a little bit more particular. And I think that's exactly what you should do when you're the number 1 team in the country.
Eric, I know that we're going to get into inside the program a little bit later today, but what is the general team feeling going into league play? I imagine they have to be pretty excited to get their boots on the ground, getting this thing going.
Yeah, I mean, they seem excited for every game, but yeah, going into the SEC first game. Obviously, it's not the most attention-getting game. Mississippi State has not been that good this season, to put it mildly. But yeah, I mean, everybody's been waiting for this for years. It gave the program a jolt when the news first came out, but it still took a long time to get to this point. They're excited, but I think they're just focused, just in general. I think they're going to look at it as any other game. But it is exciting to start SEC play. They know the level of competition is going to get more tough as they get deeper into the schedule. But yeah, I mean, it's a focused team ready to go. I expect them to play well, regardless of who the quarterback is.
Ian, in this particular game, what are, and I know that both you and Paul have done really extensive work also on the deep dive, which I invite you all to check out, but also with your lives with Homer. I'm just curious, what are some of the keys that somebody watching from home can look for and see the type of progress that you're looking for at this stage in the season?
I think this could be a good test of the Texas pass defense. Other teams were disinclined or ill-equipped to try to spread the ball around against Texas. Mississippi State may also be ill-equipped to do it, but they're at least going to try. They have a few talents. They have a good scheme. And so, if there's any cracks in the armor there for Texas, we may see a little of them this week. This will be a little bit in the same way that Houston or Kansas State last year were able to not defeat Texas, but at least reveal a couple areas of potential weakness. The isolation in space that this offense creates could do that for Texas as well. I think that Texas will prove to be robust against it, but we'll know for sure after the game.
We generally know more after the things have happened. Paul, is there something that in particular that you're looking for in this game?
Yeah, I'll take the other side of the ball. I think Texas, if you look at their advanced statistics, it's a sea of blue being good. If you look at the little graphs and all the analytics nerd stuff, But there's a big red, and the red is rush yards over expectation, meaning given what the play is blocked for, what are you getting out of it from your running back? And Texas is disappointed in that metric. The Texas running backs are not running their blocking better. And one of the culprits is Jaden Blue going down a little bit too easily at contact. I'm talking about not just breaking a tackle, but he's running through a hole, and the side of a defender's hip who's being blocked hits him, and he goes down to the ground. So whether that's because of an injury or he's still getting his sea legs, we don't know, but he needs to evidence, and the Texas running backs need to evidence a little bit better contact balance and start finishing these runs and creating some value add on top of it. And of course, we could always block a little better. So that's going to be something to look for. Mississippi State, not very robust against the run. If any of you guys caught Cam Scatterbo out in Tempe a couple of weeks ago, he dropped about 260 on them running the same 2 run plays over and over. So
that guy is a bowling ball of knives, too.
Yes, he is, actually.
He is hell to bring down.
He is very difficult to tackle. And the Texas running backs could probably learn a little something from that guy.
Hi, I want to tell you about Laura Baker. If you're looking for a new home in the 512, or even at this point, let's face it, 737 area code, there's only one number to call. That's Laura Baker at 512-784-0505. As a member of the elite Andy Allen team with Keller Williams, Laura has helped Longhorns find the home of their dreams in Central Texas. Just ask our resident sex symbol, Ian Boyd, who moved all the way from Michigan to Texas with Laura's help. Laura can help you find what you're looking for in the 512, the 737, or even parts of the 254 and the 210. Just, give her a call at 512-784-0505. Her email is in the description, as well as the rest of her contact details. She's a friend. Give her a call. Ian, this is another big week for the University of Oklahoma, and one of our little diversions that we've just enjoyed so much this year is your prediction of that game. What are you seeing this week as Oklahoma plays Auburn?
This is a very big week for them. I think you can make an argument that bowl eligibility is on the line for the Sooners in this game. They've got a very tough schedule. If they can't get a win against Auburn, then there's not a lot of – this is one of the better shots at a victory for them. If they can't get it, I don't know that it's going to come later. I mean, they might get a couple, but 6. That's twice as many as they have now, LC. As for their chances this week, I made a promise, LC. I made a promise to Oklahoma fans that I would not give them sunshine and roses, and I would tell it how it is for the rest of the year after the embarrassing Houston debacle. They're going to lose. They're going to lose, and it's going to be bad. Their entire season right now is vested in the hopes that an athletic freshman who doesn't know how to find receivers yet and is just running around trying to make things happen is going to be their ticket to points in the SEC. Yeah, this is just...
She an OU fan or what?
So here's what's going to happen. They're going to go into Jordan O'Hare. Their beat up and terrible offensive line is going to lose its composure against a very good SEC defensive line. Their young quarterback is going to be looking around trying to make things happen, and he's just going to get clobbered. It's going to be ugly. And all of the Brent Venables getting on his soapbox and talking about how mad he is at the state of the offense and the coaching that he's overseen for the last year, apparently didn't realize was terrible until they embarrassed themselves in primetime. That's going to ring really hollow after what happens on Saturday.
Do you have a final score prediction you're thinking there in that game that they're going to lose?
Auburn, 27. Oklahoma, 12.
Wow. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's move over to the game that is of interest and probably why you're here. Let's talk about our first SEC in league game, and that's going to be against Mississippi State. And we'll start with you, Eric. What do you see in this game? I'd love to get your score prediction as well.
Yeah, I've got 45-10. I think Texas is going to run the ball better than it has in previous weeks. They're going to rise to that challenge of Paul outing him. Jaden Blue is furious right now watching this. He's going to be motivated to prove Paul Wadlington wrong. 45-10 Texas. I think they could probably hang a 50 burger on him too. I think it's going to end up being 45-10 with Arch. I think Arch is going to get the start, but I'm not 100% sure on that. You're going to have to read Inside Texas and follow the tea leaves after I get some phone calls today. But Texas looks good again, and they're getting ready for the bye week and then OU.
We're going over to you, Ian. What are your thoughts?
I believe I had it 63-6. I have
You
since
did, yeah.
making this prediction watched Mississippi State a little more, and I think this may be the tougher offense that Texas will face out of the two they have been scheduled to play in the following next two games. So it could be a little higher on the Mississippi State side, but they're just not going to be able to stop Texas at all.
Are you saying that Mississippi State has the better offense than Oklahoma and Georgia?
No, just over Oklahoma.
Oh, I see. Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Right now, that's true. Now, obviously, Oklahoma is going to treat Texas like the Super Bowl. So you don't want to count out them digging deep and finding any ounce of quality they have and getting it on the field. But in terms of week-to-week basis, Mississippi State is a much crisper, much better designed, much better executed offense than Oklahoma this season.
Well, where do you have this one landing?
I have this at 49-9. That's a 40-point margin of victory.
Thank you.
How did they get the 9? Is it 3 field goals? Is it a touchdown, a field goal, and a missed extra point? Is it a safety and a touchdown? Is it 4 safeties and an extra point? You're going to have to tune in and find out. But I think Texas is going to win easily. And I think Quinn is going to start. So how about that? How's that for a controversy?
Really enjoy that. All right, let's go to you, Justin. Let's bring us home here. Where do you see this thing landing?
I think my score is vastly different than everyone else's because I'm nonconformist at this point. 48-14, I believe, is what I had, and you think 14, Jesus, Justin, what are you doing? Listen, I like Kevin Coleman. They've actually got some skill guys with some upside that you really need to pay attention to. He was a really good receiver in high school, and he's done a little bit. I think he could be sneaky and maybe get into the end zone, but there's no way, even with Isaac Smith coming back, their big safety, there's no way they're going to stop Texas offense. Right now, it's operating at the highest level possible, and it doesn't matter who's going to be the quarterback. I'm with Paul. I kind of think it's going to be a Quinn Ewers start, but Eric makes the best point. We don't know for sure, but you will know when you check it InsideTexas.com because we'll make sure you're updated. But yeah, I think Mississippi State gets on the board. I think the Texas defense looks at each other and is like, hey, we don't usually give up touchdowns. We're giving up 5 points a game, 1 point away from what a touchdown would be. So Kevin Coleman's going to score. Michael Van Buren, the Van Buren boys, he may get him a touchdown, but there's no way in hell Mississippi State's defense is stopping Ewers, Arch, Sark, and company.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Inside Texas Roundtable. We like to keep it high and tight over here, so we get you in and out in a short runtime of under 25 minutes.